say, hey, I love basketball. I play basketball, but you know, I try to
But
be the
I'm
Michael
five foot
Jordan
five,
of,
you know, like I love basketball, but I'm 5'5". So what do you want me to
yeah.
do with
So
this?
my chances go down.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good to see you, man. I'm happy that we're doing this, man. This is
It's
good.
been a while. It's been a while. Tell us something about this T-shirt.
So, man, it's an interesting time for me. So I created an apparel brand that was dedicated to highlighting the African diaspora
Yeah.
and being able to highlight cultural excellence through the lens of Black folk.
All right.
So it was doing really well, man. We were targeting historically Black colleges
Mm.
and universities, and the goal was to create a omni-channel supply network or supply chain so that they would be able to um, properly sell their merchandise and apparel.
Nice.
So we were in the thick of that,
Yeah.
and coronavirus has impacted our operations quite a bit.
All
So
right.
we're at a critical stage and pivoting right now to some other things.
You own a lot of stock. You have a lot of merchandise on hand. You need to.
So we were fast fashion, so we were keeping limited stock as
Yeah.
we do licensing with the school. So we didn't have a lot of stock on hand. I mean, we had enough that I would say
Because I know some people. I can't mention really names here without having the authorization of doing so. But I know some people that own a similar, um, uh, let's say, concept of putting like small mom and pop shops and small workers in a that have just one thing to sell, and then creating this whole brand about these things. And they had a lot of stock on their hand, a lot of inventory. And what they
Mhm.
decided to do a month ago is, hell, if we're gonna close and we're gonna close, let's use this inventory for marketing. And so they
Yeah.
decided, and so they decided really like to discount everything, you know, like to discount everything at a pace where it's like 70%. And some of the other things they also decided to put on sale and just donate the money for charity. Like, listen, if it's gonna go, we're not gonna leave it in the warehouse. Like if it's gonna get sold for somebody, let it be sold at 70%. And if you are willing to pay, like they offered options, like you either get it at 70% discount, or you basically pay the full price, and we're gonna make sure that 100% of whatever you pay is donated to charity or donated to fighting the virus or whatever it is that you really care about. And that's been working on good for them, because they, whatever they were going to spend on marketing, they ended up spending, but it delivered so much value. So that's why I asked you if you had inventory. That could be something to consider.
Yeah, we may do something similar, just have a fire sale to not be sitting on inventory, especially with sweatshirts in the summer. So
Mm.
we have our entire winter catalog that we're still sitting on. So
Nice.
we may do something like that too. Just have a fire sale. Hey, you know, any kind of revenue is good revenue at this
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. Like the cash now. Like what you need now is
Heck yeah.
liquid. You need to be liquid. Like you need
Yeah.
liquidity at the stage. What can you tell? Like I read a little bit on the on your website, and that I'm gonna put later on in this video in the description wherever I post it for people to go and check it out. Do go and check
Hmm.
it out.
Yeah.
What did I'm about making my ancestors proud. Like
Hmm.
this resonates with me, because I come from a culture where, I mean, we still have a picture of my great grandfather in our living room, right? And it's about 100 years old picture,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And we all look up to that guy who built this legacy around him and whatever. But when you say my ancestors proud, what is it really that you're trying to convey with this? What is the core message? Is there anything, if there's anything you want people to know about, what it would be?
You know what? That's the beauty of it is I think it's so ubiquitous to so many different people, and people who put reverence on family and tradition and just cultural pride, and knowing that, hey, I come from a lineage of awesome and great people, and I want to be able to represent them well. And I think how you do that is going to be specific to that person. But just those words, you know, hey, I want to make the people that came before me, I want to do right by them. And I want to make them proud in all my endeavors, all my actions, in my lifestyle, in my manner. There's a multitude of things that it can be. So I think that's the great thing why it took off, because people are like, wow, yeah, you know, I want to make my ancestors proud.
Not only that, man, it resonated with me. It's like, wow, like this dude just told me that I'm responsible for whoever comes after me. And I don't have kids. I'm not married. I don't have kids. But I'm thinking, I'm like, making my ancestors proud. It's really also about making the next generation proud of us. Like it's like, it's not only like, okay, I lived my life, my grandpa would be proud, and that's it. No. It's about that. That's why it resonated. Is it like there's a cultural transmission in this that is just, to me, resonates as like endless. You know, like
Yes.
like that 9-year-old that's gonna make my ancestors proud is actually making you proud. And you're wearing that t-shirt that making your grandparents proud, right? So, and that there's a just continuation in this. I really it really resonated with me. That's why I wanted to have this conversation about it, right?
That's awesome to hear, man. Just to say that, you know, that's good that it could have worldwide reach.
It
And
can.
we've talked a little bit about that, because right now our signature item is related to Pan-Africanism.
Absolutely.
But you know, I can see it extending to, you know, whatever, wherever you're at. We did a Colombian, a Haitian,
Yeah.
Trinidad. You know, we had requests from countries that say, hey, you know, I'm a third generation Haitian American, and I'd love to be able to have something that represents Haiti. You know, I come from a lineage of great Lebanese men and women,
Yeah.
and I want to be able to show homage to them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is good feedback right here that you're giving, actually.
It is. I'm really very, listen, I wrote a post this morning about this, about that everybody's seem comparing to the 2008 financial crisis and saying, listen, crisis. Yeah, but it's really not. It's actually more similar to the 1930s crisis. And what happened after
Right.
the 1930s? Well, a year before, 10 years, 20 years before that, there was the World War One. Then you had the crash of Wall Street in the 20s, early 20s, then economic boom. And then after that, the crash in the 30s. And after that, World War II. So we live in a world right now that resembles a lot to the 30s, where the gap between the very rich and the very poor has never been bigger, right?
Right.
The gap between cultures has never been bigger. We're talking about building walls, you know, like dividing people. Oh, you're black and you're white and you're Arab and you are, like labeling. Like it's like putting a label in a. We invented those label machines where everybody
Right.
wants to be. And then if you don't get labeled by society, then you're a minority, and then you start screaming for a label. Hey, I want to be recognized, so I need a label too. You know, like, and we're going on into this, and that's why it's resonated to me, because what you're conveying is actually not labelable. I don't know if it's a word.
Right.
You know, like,
I don't know either, but I get it.
I don't know if it's a word, but like you can't put a label. Like I cannot say, okay, so that's an African American movement. I cannot say that's an Arab movement. I cannot say that's a Latino movement. No.
Right.
Making my ancestors proud. Whoever you are,
Mm-hmm.
you came from somewhere, and you're gonna go for somewhere, and you're gonna leave your mark on this planet. And so what is it that you want to, what is it that makes you so unique and so proud, and what is it that you want to leave? And so that's why I really
Yes.
really enjoyed it. It really resonated to me, this thing.
Yes. So we're at a point now, man, where we're thinking, you know, should apparel is just one branch, one division of the things we can do, especially now we're looking at education.
Yeah.
And how do we get into some of this
All right.
digital education, e-learning that's happening,
All right.
to help some of the schools, just to divert and talk about community building and what that looks like, and how we can become a connector, leveraging some of the things you're talking about.
Yeah. That's very good. That's really very good. Like if you can get it to become a movement, right?
Yeah.
Not, I hear, we spoke about this 5 years ago in the NBA. Wow, it's been already 5 years, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been already 5 years. Like it seems like yesterday that we had this white wine on the with the view on the sea, and we're discussing things, and now it's we're discussing cross Atlantic. Okay, in regards of your operations right now, how many people do you manage? How did you break down the news to the people? Because obviously a lot of people rely on you guys, and obviously there's a lot of emotions that are like, people might feel beaten down by this virus and say, okay, it just fucked up all my dreams, and oh, I just said the F word, nice. It's just messed up with all my plans and all my dreams. And then what is it that you're dealing with right now with people that work with you?
So I can say I went through that feeling like, wow, because we had just started to plateau. I had been working on just a retail operations network for 3 years. So
Wow.
so since we got out of at least the MBA program, I kind of jumped straight into procurement, supply chain, and I've been kind of working on just supply chain since then.
All right.
And this year, we were on pace, man. We were going to do like 758K this
Wow.
year before everything shut down, and we were running really lean. I didn't have a staff. I had some contractors that would help with like design. I had family members who would help with customer service,
Of course.
but because we were totally e-commerce, it was a pretty lean team. And I struggled with, wow, we were getting ready to take off, and now overnight, seemingly, it's gone. Or it stops. You know, you work every single day for 3 years, and then all of a sudden you stop.
Yeah.
And for me, there was a complete mind F just to say, whoa, like, what do I do? You know, why is the universe conspiring against me right now? So I struggle with that and trying to find inspiration and bouncing back and remotivating and recentering and finding at least the fortitude to keep going. Because it's hard for people, man. People are losing their businesses overnight. You know, people are losing their homes overnight. You know, people are losing everything. You know, all your gains from the stock market are gone over the last.
But whatever it is that you made, it just got canceled. Like the last 5 years,
canceled.
I think the last 5 years for most of us were just canceled. You know, like whatever savings you've put, you know, that you're gonna spend this year, whatever it is. I'm not talking about those. The guy that makes 6 figures a year, that's put a decent amount of money to be able to sustain himself for 3 years or so. I'm talking really like middle class, hardworking people that could just go and every day are trying to build something. Yeah.
Small businesses, man, like the real small businesses, not small businesses with over 500 employees.
No. We're talking about the bakery down the corner, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly, man. 10 employees and undercapitalized, and we're just providing services for our community, and now stop.
Yeah.
So, you know, this has really made me focus on, you know, the local economies. You know, how can I improve my neighborhood? How can I help the people in my community versus, oh, let me create this global nationwide brand. You know, how about I create something of value, use my talent and all the talent that's around me to improve, you know, my neighbors. So it's really helped me have a different lens.
You should teach 9-year-olds about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so we actually hoop nerds, man. That's kind of what the other brand, kind of our social initiative is, being able to teach,
right? From the culture of the
from the culture of so a lot of young kids in my neighborhood want to be ball players. I grew up wanting to be a ball player, and you know,
Can you touch a little bit about the importance of sports, especially for the community that you serve, the importance of sports into this? Because I mean, it's hard for a non-American to understand what that is, and we'll have, I hope, a wide audience. So can you touch a little bit on this, the importance of?
Yes, sure. So particularly basketball, and I say my community, and I talk specifically in my neighborhood, which is 95% African American. The high school that I went to is 98% African American. So these are at least communities that are centered around African American culture, and basketball being a game that's worldwide, but at least the players on the court for the most part, are Black players. So when you look at least someone to gain inspiration from that's a millionaire, right? That's financially capable and stable,
Yeah, that's
that
Shaq,
has,
Jordan, Miller, you
yeah,
know, like those guys.
yeah. But I think a parallel is even football, not American football, but
Yeah, yeah,
soccer, I guess.
absolutely. In
That,
countries like France, in countries like Portugal,
yeah,
Spain, uh, especially in countries like also Latin American countries, all the football
yeah,
players, the soccer, I'm talking soccer, of course, there's this connection. Like when you're a kid, you want to be like
mm,
Cristiano Ronaldo, or you want to be like Messi, or you see what
exactly.
I mean? And so, okay.
Yeah, and the likelihood of this happening though is very, very, very slim. You know, some of the numbers around basketball here are 3% or 0.03% to make it
Oh,
to the
okay.
National Basketball Association. So your chances of securing hoop dreams is what we call them is very small. So
Yeah.
we've endeavored to be able to say, hey, when you see a tall African American boy, don't make it about basketball. Say, hey, you'd be a good attorney, or you'd be a good banker, or you'd be a good whatever artist, painter. So for me, since I have design and a lot of artistry background, we've been introducing young kids to Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and Facebook marketing and e-commerce,
So
all of
basically,
these things.
nice. So
Yep,
basically, being not Michael Jordan, but being Michael Jordan of.
exactly this,
Okay.
exactly this,
We want
and
you
also
to be the
showing
Michael
all of
Jordan
the
of law. We want to be the Michael Jordan of. Okay, now I get it.
exactly this, man. That's exactly what it is. To say, hey, I love basketball, I play basketball, but I try to
But
be the
I'm
Michael
five foot
Jordan
five,
of
you know, like I love basketball, but I'm 5'5". So what do you want me to
yeah.
do with
So
this?
my chances go down a lot, man.
Yeah, you know.
So that's kind of our social initiative to give back, to say, hey, we want to teach kids. So I went in my local high school and I taught a class, and we were going to help them launch a product in their spirit shop, and the kids were going to go from the beginning to end on that process. But of course, COVID-19 has other plans now.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that I was talking to my parents about this, you know, and my parents lived through the civil war in Lebanon.
Mhm.
So the amount of times where everything they built was destroyed in one lifetime is like endless. You know,
Wow.
like you build something up, and then 5 years later there's an attack or something on the warehouses, or commerce stops, or they just bombed the airport. You know, and it's not like
Mm.
you closed it and you can open the next morning. You bombed the airport, so it means like it takes you a week now to open it back. And so I was talking to them, and then my father was saying, listen, that's like this virus is making us understand that all the impossible things that we thought were impossible are actually very possible. So
Wow.
consume less, right? It's possible now, you know, move less, drive less, pollute less, you know, like
Yes.
have meaningful
Yes.
relationships, build relationships. Like, you see what I
Yes.
mean? Take care of your family.
Community, companionship, like.
Absolutely, like all these things where you're like chasing the dollar, and I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, now you have time, and guess what?
Yeah.
You're still alive. You're still above 80% of the world's population, in whether your comfort is or whatever. I mean, if you have electricity, internet, and running water, you're in the top 5% of the planet, man. So
Exactly.
what are you talking about?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
People now, it's important more than ever to drown yourself in gratitude,
Uh,
especially those of us who are able to have Zoom conferences and talk about and dream about all the things we want to do, right? Like that is a privilege that I think that it has
absolutely.
really, really forced me to to
Just look at who's wooed. No, because she just paused, you know, like that would be.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna keep that in the video. She just paused and like, am I on camera? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Move. You know. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that, if I were to get a tattoo, I don't have any tattoos, but a tattoo that I'm really considering is drown yourself in gratitude,
Yeah.
man, because I really am. It has really allowed me to take a step back and be like, wow, I'm thankful that I can quarantine myself in a house that
Absolutely.
has internet, that has water, that has electricity, two houses that I actually can quarantine in, and I'm blown away by the amount of blessings that I have, that I would say probably taken for granted. So this has recentered me, and it's been good to refocus.
Yeah, the Italian prime minister said this. He said your parents and grandparents were generations that were asked to go to war
Mm.
to fight for their loved ones. We're just asking you to sit on your couch and watch Netflix. Like, just
Wow.
come on, you know.
Yes. When you say it
Like,
like
come
that,
on.
it
You think
really
your life is difficult? You know.
exactly.
So
Wow.
your parents and grandparents went through wartime, and now we're just asking kids to sit on the couch. You know, like we're asking 20, 30-year-olds to listen. Just take 3 months off. You know, like just sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you spent, and you think you need money. Yes, you need money, but you can find junk in your house that you can flip on eBay and make ends meets. You know, like you can
Yeah.
you can survive on this, right? And then participate in the. Okay, so what's next for you guys?
So we're going to double down on community building, and we think that there is a big opportunity in education. I know personally that there's a lot of educational institutions struggling
Mm,
with coming up with a new plan with how to introduce their students to enterprise learning, entrepreneurship,
yeah,
and now even e-learning. That's a whole nother sector
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
gonna open up. So really, we want to become an added resource to institutions that are doing good work.
Yeah,
Our educators, even our healthcare, but people who don't have the know-how or expertise to build an expansive supply chain network or a digital marketing
yeah,
ecosystem,
yeah.
or how to introduce work from home or remote solutions. So we're going to delve into that because I've been doing it. For the last year, I've been working from home and I've been building a supply chain. I've been building a digital platform, and we're going to leverage that and try to really do some good work and not focus on our bottom line, but really our impact
All right.
on the community now.
I think that's the world's gonna need this. I think so. It's
Yeah.
at some point a lot of people lost a lot of things, and you're gonna be in a position where you can provide that impact. You know,
Yeah.
where you're gonna be in this position where these things happen. And so, how are you considering things like partnering with schools or doing courses or like because something
Yeah.
that's been working out for me in my company is that I mean even one point like I used to go to high schools and
Mhm.
not colleges or university, and I used to look for interns in high schools like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that just had this and just wanted some
Yeah. Had
some
the burn. They got the burn.
like that I call them the buzzing bees, like the guy that is
Yeah.
I cannot sit still for 5 minutes, and so we I mean literally once I had to have a parent signature authorizing their son to do an internship at my company, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So would you be considering things like that to try to position within the community? For example, the 12-year-old, tell him go work in a bakery for a week, or in a restaurant, to have a 16-year-old wait in a restaurant just for a couple of days, just to see what business is, what human relationships is, and what is expected from that person later on in society. And
Yeah.
just
So there's actually a company here local. So I went through one of the business incubators here, and they help early stage entrepreneurs with just basic business skills. And I said, hey, it'd be good for us to partner and do this on a local level with our high schools.
yeah,
So that's something I think they'll probably take ownership of,
right.
because we've already built relationship with some of the colleges, and we were selling college apparel. It's kind of an easy transition to say, hey, we're already selling your school's apparel. Why don't we show your students how to do it? Why don't
Yeah,
we introduce them
yeah,
to what entrepreneurship looks like? And they create
absolutely,
designs, they create brand equity
absolutely,
on for themselves, and we
absolutely,
just help facilitate that.
absolutely, absolutely. Great, great, great. So great things coming up. You know that
Heck yeah, man.
in the words of my parents, when there's war, some people see it as the end of a world, and some other will just take a step back and see it the beginning of a new one.
Heck yeah, man. Words for the wise right there, man. Creators will create.
That's it.
That's
It. Creators will create. Like
Creators
we're
will
gonna
create,
do
man.
something. We might not know what, we might not know when, but we know that we're here for a purpose, I think. And I think now it's the time, as you said earlier in the conversation, and now is the time just to take a step back. So what are the 3, 4, or let's say, what are the 3, 4 things that you want anybody listening to you right now, just to, if you had just a piece of advice to somebody in your position that has lost business, that is reflecting on life, what can you tell them? Just 2, 3 things that you can think of.
Yeah, so the one, I think it's really, really important. I can't reiterate it enough, to drown yourself in gratitude, and to really, really lean on all the people who have helped you to get to wherever you are now, present day. Because I say, if you were running a business, you've had a taste of success, and to lean on those people and to lean on the community that's helped you get there. No one's self-made. That's a complete farce for being self-made. You have people who are cheering for you, rooting for you, and that are more than willing to help you out. You got to ask though, and 10 toes down, man. We got to dig deep, and really, like I said, drown yourself in gratitude, and be thankful for health, and wealth will come in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. So gratitude, that would be your
Yeah, man. It's real philosophical. It's not, but I think really just,
well,
being thankful.
it is philosophical, but there are practical. It is philosophical, but there are practical ways. Like whenever you open your eyes in the morning, just think of 3 things that you're grateful for. That's it, and it will make your day. You know, I'm grateful for the health of my family. I'm grateful for the bed I'm sleeping in, and I'm grateful for this. Okay, now what you got? Show me what you got. You know, like that's what I mean. So that's
a powerful routine that
it's
people,
a very powerful routine. As much as a lot of the philosophy, we're finding out that it's very easy to be replaceable when you're executing, but when you're thinking, it's not easy to be replaceable, right? So if you're executing a task, AI, robots, whatever you want to call it for the future, will replace you. But when you're thinking, when you're building, when you're designing, I think machines can design, but I think until now, no camera has been better than your eyes. Like the eye is the most complex retina, and is the most complex aperture of all cameras you can have, right? And so with all the technology, we cannot match the eye in the complexity of details. Right.
Yeah.
So
and focus on human experiences then.
Absolutely.
So I think that's it. You know, the human side of things. I think we've lost touch with human nature and what connects us as humans. I think people are realizing that humans are not running nature. You know, we don't control nature.
Listen, last time I checked, we were like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And then Mother Nature, okay, there's a COVID-19 coming up. Go to your room and you're grounded.
Yeah, you're grounded. Have a seat until I tell you to come out, right?
Until I tell you to come out, you know? And if you do come out, a lot of things are going to happen, you know, like a lot of bad things are going to happen to you. So, you know, like that's got to be a humbling experience. I think in gratitude and humility, I think we can just start there. I think what you said is very, very powerful. Gratitude, and I would add to it humility, to understand that we're just a piece of a puzzle, right? Exactly. And we cannot choose where to, like, a piece of a puzzle cannot choose where it stands on a puzzle. You know, it just fits where it's supposed to fit. And so if you mess up the equilibrium of this puzzle, you just mess up the whole picture. So that's why.
Yeah, man. Wonderful, man. Wonderful. This was totally refreshing, man.
Good.
This is good, man. Now I feel like I'm ready to run through the wall right now.
No, don't do that. You can only do that in Hollywood, man. I know you're in the States. Right. You guys think you can do a lot of things, but no, don't do that.
Yeah, man.
Okay.